Hi everybody. I'm sorry if it's a little loud in the background. Got some wash going, but I think moms understand that. So if you're from PA and you're trying to figure out what do you put in your portfolio for your children, I do a separate portfolio for each child, a 1-inch binder. This actually keeps me from putting too much in and overdoing it. But and I've also had years where I just put them all in one 3-inch binder, and that was nice too. So you can do it either way. So basically in Pennsylvania we have more regulations, and you have to be evaluated at the end of the year by a certified, I don't even know if that's the right word, evaluator, and you can find them through Facebook groups and websites like CHAP, Christian Homeschooling Association of Pennsylvania, and some other HSLDA, I think, and that might have some listed on their website. But either way, you got to find an evaluator, and Facebook is pretty quick and easy way to do that. And so you're going to put some things together from your school year. Some things are required in Pennsylvania. All right, things required in Pennsylvania that I put into my portfolio. Pennsylvania history. In the elementary years, you have to have Pennsylvania history every year, and I always make sure that whatever we did to cover Pennsylvania history, whether it was a trip to Gettysburg or another site. One year we walked around our town and read all of the historical plaques around our town, and I either wrote about it or I took pictures and I included that in the portfolio. Okay, so you got to have PA history. If your child is finishing 3rd, 5th, or 8th grade, you have to have standardized testing done. We use the California Achievement Test, and then I put those results inside this binder so that I can take it along with us, and the evaluator is going to look for that, so it needs to be present in here. Another thing that you must have is a calendar with 180 days crossed off, or 900 hours. It's much easier to mark days for our homeschooling, and I think for most people. I've never even heard of anyone doing 900 hours, but if you do it that way, awesome. So I have a calendar I print out, or you can make it so easy. Cross off the days you did, put a sticker on them, whatever. And then on my calendar, I write special things that we did so that I don't forget them. So I have it around all year long, marking them off as I go, and I count most days as school because most days are school. Learning and cooking and measuring and playing and socializing with our friends at a playground or going to our homeschool group are all school days. All right, so those are some of the things that you must have in your portfolio for your child. Okay, I have a picture of my son on the front, so I don't want to show you that, but I name our school, and I put the year, and I put their picture, and they choose something special they want to add to it. Okay, I separate our portfolio with tabs, and I get these for each of my kids, and we have, so in yours you should have math, English, science, history, and I call it the arts. It has music, and it has the artwork that they've done, or artists that they've studied, composers that they've studied, things like that. Okay, the other thing, a book list. What books did you read together? What books did your child read by themselves? Now my kids read so many, they just pick a few that are their favorites, and then we record it in here. So I do our family books, which were woefully lacking this year, but we're kind of hobbling through, and that sounds like we didn't enjoy it, but we're working through The Hobbit, and we're all loving it. It's just taking forever. So we're still reading that. So we have a few of those in this portfolio, and then the books that my kids liked, and the evaluator almost always asks, what was your favorite book? And my kids look dumbfounded every single time. And so I'm like, we're writing them down this year. Okay, then I list volunteer opportunities on the next page of the portfolio, and I explain the gym class we did, and my boys did hunter safety class. Okay, then another thing that you need to have is a safety plan, fire safety. So I actually just made my own this year. In case of a fire, know the location of all the doors and windows in your home. Feel your bedroom door to see if it's warm. If it is, stay and get low. Put a stuffed animal in your window to alert the firemen that you're in there. And so they share where our family meeting places if there's a fire. And then I have in case of emergency contact information on the next page. Okay, I include pictures of us all the way through, and I just slide them in these tabs. I keep So the first thing here, math. I have a scope and sequence from our homeschool group. We do classical conversations, but maybe you just have, and you don't even need to include a scope and sequence, but maybe you want to. It just puts it right all out there for your evaluator. This is what we covered this year. We're working on mastery. Maybe you haven't reached it yet. Maybe you're slowly progressing, but those are the things you looked at and studied. So then I include in math a little bit from the beginning of the year. I'll just pull them right out of their books and put them in here. A little bit from the middle of the year and a couple pages from the end of the year, and that's it. I close that up and I move on. English, because you want to show your evaluator that you've made progress, and they are not grading your student. They just want to see what has happened from the beginning of the year in your homeschooling year to the end. Looking for progress. Okay, so again, I just add photos. Then I'm into English. Again, I did a scope and sequence of all we did for English. For my boys, there's a ton. And then a little bit of their work. Not a whole lot is written down this year. The way we do it, we use dry erase, and then we'll get rid of their work because they repeat things over and over and over. So a few things diagramming they wrote down, we did that. A few things from the beginning, middle, end. They wrote tons of papers. Did keyword outlines. So I include more of those just because their papers require so much effort, and so we really put a lot of those in. Okay, then we got science. Science, they did some things at the library, drawing pictures. They did a CSI summer class with a local school. Then I do the scope and sequence again of science. I include some of their science work. Most of their science was hands-on science experiments. So we don't have tons of papers, but the few that I had, I stuck in there. Okay, so less beginning, middle, and end for our curriculum, but I stuck in like any paper I could find that we actually wrote things down, because a lot of it, tons of it, was hands-on. Okay, our next one was history, and I want to just go through this fast. We're almost to the end of our portfolio. Our evaluator takes lots of time to ask questions, and did you enjoy that? Oh, I see you were in an art show, and you did a presentation. Yes. Okay, then they talk about it with her. So we are into history. I include the scope and sequence, all the history sentences they memorized, and then we went to Gettysburg Museum. So this is where I've stuck my PA history. It's right in here. Just the museum printout that we got when we were there. I save those things and stick them in. Maybe you just have pictures of yourself visiting the museum. Get it in there so you have your PA history covered. Some map work, which is a science also. Geography is a science. All right, then I move on to the arts. Shows that they were in. This is a song they wrote. They learned the tin whistle. They labeled the parts. They drew pictures. They learned to use oils or the elements of shape. Shapes that are in everything you see everywhere. And then I have other volunteer things. They participated in Operation Christmas Child, and that is the end. That is how quick. Now it takes me time to put this together, but it's a pretty simple process. My kids love looking back, so even if I wasn't in a state that required a portfolio, I would probably still do it. All right, if you have questions, let me know in the comments, and have a great day.